A genius scientist accidentally found himself locked out of his own life and was reborn in the Joseon era, traveling back hundreds of years through space and time. Fortunately, in his new life he was born as the crown prince of the Joseon Dynasty, one of the most famous kingdoms in Korean history. In this new world, he disrupted the established order by using knowledge from the future to reform his country. This is the premise of Black Corporation Joseon. Hyang introduced a new concept to the officials. He smiled and began explaining, instead of following the Ming Dynasty's approach, we can develop bilateral trade. The ministers began murmuring. What is bilateral trade? Hyang continued, it is the opposite of the Ming Dynasty's trade model, which relies on tributes and gifts. Instead, we can exchange essential goods between nations. The king wanted to know more. He requested a more detailed explanation. Hyang explained, simply put, we will operate based on trade principles. The court will handle transportation and ensure the safety of merchants. In return, we will collect taxes and fees. This way we can keep trade profitable. We can also import essential goods at a lower cost while maintaining price control. King Sejong pondered. The Minister of Taxation asked, essential goods for daily life? Are those even available from other countries? Most high-quality goods are already produced here in Joseon. Hyang responded quickly, Minister, are you familiar with pepper? The Minister of Public Works suddenly realized, that's right. I almost forgot about that. Hyang sighed inwardly. He thought, people in this era don't realize how bland food is without pepper. We can only buy a small amount of pepper from Arab traders. That's why it's so expensive, Hyang continued. A minister interjected, but do we really need to import it? If there's a problem, people might spend too much money. The nation's wealth could flow out. Hyang replied, there is indeed that risk. However, if we blindly stop funding external trade, smuggling will increase instead. When that happens, people will pay even more and corruption will run rampant. Many will bribe officials to cover up the smuggling. Everyone present nodded in agreement. The more prosperous Joseon becomes, the better life will be for the people, right? Said one minister. Exactly, another replied. Hyang then turned to the Minister of Taxation. What about the other goods I requested, aside from the books? The minister responded, those items are in the warehouse. Hyang then asked his father, may I bring these goods to the Eastern Palace? King Sejong nodded in approval. Moments later, crates began being moved. Hyang inspected each one. What's that? A minister asked as he saw Hyang opening a crate. Hyang answered promptly, this is the first item we will sell, sugar. The minister was shocked. Cane sugar? He recalled that his teacher had once mentioned that in the Joseon era, sugar was a valuable commodity. Growing sugarcane was extremely difficult. It was very expensive and considered a luxury. No wonder people here were astonished to see so much sugar. The ministers murmured among themselves, sugar is such an expensive item, and the crown prince has 20 full crates of it? With an annoyed expression, King Sejong spoke up. Crown Prince, even though you are the heir to the throne, your lifestyle is quite extravagant. Hyang looked at the Minister of Taxation and asked, does the inventory list include the prices? What was the total cost? The Minister of Taxation checked the records. Let's see. Sugar. Where is it? Sugar? What? 20 pure silver coins? Everyone in the palace was stunned. King Sejong quickly asked, is there a mistake in the records? The Minister of Taxation swallowed hard. Politely, he answered, the total amount of sugar purchased was 800 kilograms, Your Majesty. Once again, the palace was filled with shock. A minister exclaimed in a trembling voice, in the market, that amount of money wouldn't even buy a handful of sugar. How is this possible? Hyang recalled his teacher's words. If we closely examine Joseon's historical records, we'll see how strictly the kingdom isolated itself from the outside world. Our people don't even realize that the Ming Dynasty has started mass-producing sugar. They produce so much that sugar is now considered a secondary commodity. Hyang confidently continued, that is why I was able to buy sugar at such a low price. The ministers gasped in surprise. Oh, so that's how it is. King Sejong smiled proudly. I am very proud of you. You are truly knowledgeable, worthy of being the crown prince. However, the Minister of Public Works suddenly raised an objection. But we already have honey and grain syrup as substitutes for sugar. Therefore, we don't need to rely on foreign products. Another minister interrupted. Your opinion is wrong. Honey is hard to find and grain syrup depends on the annual harvest. It's better to rely on stable foreign products. Sparks flew in their gazes. Another minister spoke up. This isn't just about ease or difficulty. If we continue importing, won't Joseon become too dependent on foreign goods? Shouldn't we also consider smuggling? Hyang interrupted. I want to ask the ministers. Has anyone ever tasted cane sugar before? Everyone looked confused. One by one they began to respond. Some admitted they had tasted it once. Others had only tried it upon passing the state examination. Some had never tasted it at all. Hyang let out a deep sigh and thought to himself, is our Joseon truly this poor? King Sejong sharpened his hearing. What did you say? Hyang quickly replied, nothing, father. Then he changed the topic. I have a suggestion that I hope you will accept. Since we have just acquired a large quantity of sugar, why don't we distribute some to the officials and use it as gifts for the palace servants? The ministers started murmuring. Using sugar as a gift? Yang nodded. Yes. I believe it is important to recognize and appreciate those who have prioritized the nation above all else and dedicated themselves wholeheartedly. After hearing Hyang's explanation, the ministers finally agreed. They also decided to sell the remaining stock of sugar. A few days later at the palace, King Sejong was leisurely enjoying sweets made from the newly acquired sugar. He looked very satisfied. Suddenly, Hyang rushed in with a worried expression. Father. King Sejong, who had not yet swallowed the sugar in his mouth, was startled. Oh, Crown Prince, you're here. Seeing his father eating sugar again, Hyang immediately frowned. Father, you're eating sugar again? Look at your stomach, it's getting bigger. The king refused to back down. I was just about to skip my dinner. Hyang sighed and shook his head. What if you get diabetes? King Sejong exclaimed helplessly. I already know that. The two were locked in their never-ending argument about the king's sugar addiction. At that moment, a voice from outside interrupted them. Your Majesty, the ministers have arrived. They had no choice but to end their argument. The king signaled, then allowed them to enter. The door opened. 3 ministers slowly walked in, each moving with an air of authority. Their faces were serious. Their presence was unlike that of ordinary men. Hyang turned to look at them, wondering, who are they? This is my first time meeting these people. As soon as the ministers arrived, the king began speaking. As you all know, the minister of the left recently retired to his hometown after the smallpox vaccination incident. Several high-ranking positions remain vacant. I have now made my decision regarding these appointments. The king continued, this may be the first time the crown prince has met you all. So, why don't you introduce yourselves? Hyang looked at the man beside him. He wasn't sure who they were. The first man introduced himself. I am Sejong, the right state counselor. I am Hwang Hee, the left state counselor. I am Lee Jik, the chief state counselor. Upon hearing their introductions, Hyang was stunned. His emotions began to surge. This is insane. Could it really be them? He looked at the 3 men and thought to himself, they're really here. Overcome with excitement, he thought, if they are here, that means, who are they? How great are these 3 men? What role will they play in Joseon? Stay tuned for the next chapter. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so you can get updates on the next episode. See you in the next video.